Hello all. So I thought I'd give you an update on why and the outcome so far on upgrading my P400e to this D300 anniversary edition. You'll see there so far with the mileage I've done, not a lot of mileage, but a lot of short journeys mixed in there, relatively short, sort of 5 miles into town, 5 miles back, that sort of thing, getting 31.6 to the gallon. So I'm really pleased with that, and I'm really surprised that I'm managing to get that sort of level of MPG from what is a very, very big vehicle. And of course this is relevant to the whole P400e aspect of why we changed. So let's just go through that. The P400e, fabulous vehicle. The range though is the problem, and the charging infrastructure across the UK. Home charging, perfect. So if you're doing lots of short journeys, you've got home charging, you're able to do that conveniently. Perhaps there's tax benefits, you know, congestion charge fees and one thing and another, then it works. But for me, with my typical longer journeys, and we tried the charging network, which compared to the Tesla, which is out at the moment, is just such a pain. And also waiting around to put in the winter 20 miles range in the car, we got to the point where we didn't bother. I've got a friend actually with one of these hybrid, and he doesn't care because his tax benefit in kind, putting it through the business. He literally just drives around with a hybrid, carrying the weight of the battery, and doesn't bother to charge it because it's such a hassle, and because the benefit of the 20 miles, perhaps in the summer 25 miles, just isn't worth it to him. And I'm uncomfortable with that, frankly. I don't agree with him on that. I think that misses the point. It annoyed me when we were effectively carrying a heavy battery on longer journeys and getting 20 to the gallon, because once the battery on the P400e is flat, you're getting 20 to the gallon, and I just didn't like that. It really annoyed me. So getting 31.6 to the gallon on this, to me, I'm absolutely delighted. And of course, as I've said before, I've got this extra space here. I'm getting the extra storage pouches there from Powerful UK. They've been ordered today. And this is the key thing, is this space underneath the boot for all my junk, which I don't want to listen to it rattling around. I do want it, but I don't want it. It's out of sight, out of mind, you know. It's the sort of thing you need when you need it. You need to be able to get at it, but you don't want it encroaching the main sort of areas of the vehicle. And we do fully use this. I had this boot full pretty well all last week for various things. So that for me was really, really important. So that's the reasons why we made the switch over. We also, as I mentioned in my previous video, got an absolutely staggering deal trading back the P400e, because there's such high demand for them at the moment, towards the stupid price of this, the 75th edition in Grasmere green. Because, you know, as I said before, this is 10 grand more expensive than the equivalent specified model HSE with the same sort of spec. It's 10 grand more, which is just stupid. It is it's taking the PISS out of the average person buyer, and all you get is the Grasmere green, a spray on sticker there, and a badge at the back there. And of course it's a Marmite car. You know, some people like it, some people don't. And I guess a lot of people don't like it. We like it, actually. We like the colour. And because we had one before, we had the 1999 Heritage Edition, which was the same colour with the sort of cream white roof. So we actually like it. And actually, I prefer it like it is today, dirty. I don't know if you can see with the sun and the light, but it's got this, it's dirty, grubby, filthy. There you are. You know, we're not, this is not a Chelsea tractor. probably not going to go as far as off-roading, green laning, because I've got my motorbike in the garage there, which I use for that, and I have the trailer to take it around, and I do my green laning on the bike, which is far better and less of an encroachment on some of the lanes with the brambles and one thing and another. But we actually like the colour, so for us it was great. And I am making some subtle changes to the outside, but no gloss black or anything, and no more Grasmere green. I'm just going to subtle it up. I would prefer, this silver is growing on me bizarrely, because of course it echoes to the galvanized of the original HUE 166 of 1948, which had, you know, galvanized bumper at the front and one thing other, and galvanized grille. So the silver, I didn't like it at first, but it's growing on me, and I just don't think it's worth the money and the cost to change any of that. So let's now talk about the, oh, and this, by the way, you need to watch Simon's video about battery decoration, because every time you touch a door on this, because this is new and I'm fiddling about doing things to it, I've got various bits to fit from Powerful UK. I keep opening the doors, and when you're doing that, the battery does drop. So out of just good maintenance, it takes seconds. I click this C-Tech in there, and it just means I know that if I'm fiddling about with it outside and then go out in it later, the battery's fully topped up. So that's just sort of like, shouldn't be necessary for normal use, and isn't necessary for normal use, but sort of I probably will in future once a month plug it in. Certainly plug it in before we go away on a trip, if we do any overnights, if we do any camping, or, you know, because we put the bike rack on the back. We've got our bikes, put the bike rack on the back, do a lot of towing and one thing and another. So anything like that, we will be topping up the battery before we go on a long trip, and we may be parked up, you know, draining systems. So the D300 engine, which is the, you know, the straight six engine. Let's see if we open it up here. What are my thoughts on that so far? Because clearly that's a huge difference to the P400e, and it's a big difference to the four-pot engine that they first, diesel engine they first brought out with this. I love the engine. I'm really impressed, and we're only running it in, really. I'm a bit old-fashioned like that. It's only done 600 miles, so I haven't, as you can tell from that MPG, I haven't given it a hard time at all. But it's a lovely engine. It's got a nice sound to it, and it's got excellent power. I didn't notice, I mean, I did test drive the D300 when we had a sort of a demo test drive some time ago, and I really don't notice much difference. That's maybe just simply because the engine's still tight, still running it in, haven't really pushed it, but I'm not noticing a big difference, frankly. But I'm sure it is there. It obviously is there. The numbers, you know, speak for themselves. But the engine, I'm absolutely delighted with it. Really pleased. Couldn't say enough for it so far. Early doors, economy. In terms of economy, the one thing I have noticed, massive impact. If you go down, like on Friday, we did quite a long journey on Friday, and down the motorway we're into a strong headwind, and by Jove, that strong headwind really collapsed the MPG. It really did collapse. And then of course we came back with the wind behind us, and of course it was the reverse. So yeah, I think the shape of the vehicle will work against you, against the headwind, and you know, likewise the opposite. But it just really, I mean, it collapsed to like sort of 22 to the gallon, going down towards Bristol on Friday, and you know, shot up to like 36 on the way back. It was just really noticeable, and you felt it against the car as well. So it's clearly a clever design. It's very, you know, compared to, you know, considering its mass, it's aerodynamically a great achievement, but you can't defy the laws of, you know, all of that. Okay, so there's your little update. I'm going to be doing little bits and pieces to it, very subtle, nothing blingy, and I just wanted to share why we made that change and how we're finding it so far. And I had zero issues with it, zero problems, absolutely delighted. Thanks.